2 seasons ago, Mr. Crucini nearly pulled off a miraculous Serie A Scudetto with Torino. But of course, he bottled it.
You're not that guy, pal, trust me.
If the man stayed with Torino, I'm sure glory would have been achieved. But in this reality, he left and took a year off. During that period, Napoli won the Scudetto for the first time since 1990. However, with Spalletti leaving on a high, rumors began circulating that Rudy Garcia, of all people, was going to be his heir. We can't let that happen. So Crucini threw his name in, and De Laurentiis appointed him as manager. Napoli's team are still strong favorites to retain the title. They had last season's MVP Krzysztof Kvaratskhelia, a strong midfield with the likes of Lobotka, Anguissa, and Zielinski, plus the league's best striker, Victor Osimhen. Unfortunately, Kim Min-jae left a huge gap in the defense, so the first piece of business was to get rid of another. Juan Jesus was let go for $5 million, and with other exits, Napoli had a decent transfer budget.
37 million euros on the table.
With only Ostigard, Ramani, and Natun at center back, we decided to bring in Jean-Claire Todibo to Naples for an excessive fee. But what a player he is. Other business included Mitya Ilenic arriving on a free and Pablo Barrios coming from Atletico Madrid for $7 million. Starting off with a 4-3-3 because for some reason that was a requirement for the job, the Serie A campaign began brilliantly, in big part to Victor Osimhen. He won the August Player of the Month with 5 goals in 2 matches. That reminds me.
You're fired!
We won our first 6 matches, which was rounded off by a 1-0 victory over Juventus. With 5 clean sheets, people were already forgetting who Kim Min-jae was. While it was going to be impossible to maintain this form with European football and more difficult opponents approaching, a 1-1 draw to Cagliari wasn't ideal. We've still scored in every single match this season, but with a home fixture to Fiorentina, Biraghi pulled this off to take a 1-0 lead. Then our team got a hit of amnesia, as he almost did it again a few minutes later. Our effort to get an equalizer came to no avail, as Nzola tapped in a second at the end. Our first loss, which didn't affect our position. After the international break, Crucini would be returning to the Olimpico Grande Torino. There were only a handful of players that he recognized, like Richie the Regista and 2022 Serie A Defender of the Year, Buongiorno. With the match beginning with long shots on both sides hitting the iron, it wouldn't be shocking if one ends up going in. Unfortunately, we deflected their next attempt into our own net. The further this stayed 1-0, the more worried I got. And in the second half, Duvan Zapata made it 2. On the brink of defeat, I decided to bring back Crucini's favorite formation, the 4-1-3-2 Italian style. Could we salvage this with 35 minutes left? Wouldn't it have been funny if this wasn't offside? However, we did respond with Zielinski off the bench, getting us within 1. The Pole is the most talented midfielder at the club, but with him deciding to consider his options at the end of his contract, that brought forth some memories for De Laurentiis. He phoned me and said that I couldn't start this man for the rest of the season. I will not go into what he said about Polish footballers though. Regardless, Zielinski was still useful off the bench and inspired others to kick on. This included Raspadori, who Crucini always admired. The reborn trequartista would equalize the encounter. It was in our hands, and with 10 to go, finds Oliveira, cross in, Osimhen! Celebrating in front of the Torino fans was a bit excessive, but this comeback win made me switch to my bread and butter, temporarily. Before worrying about that, we had the Champions League. Napoli had a frustrating quarterfinal exit last campaign, but that's the past. This year, the group was difficult, but manageable. A 3-0 win over Shakhtar Donetsk opened things up in spite of a 78th minute red card. Then Arsenal was looking like a victory thanks to Osimhen. But late on, Tomigotsu went on an incredible run, and thankfully, the back-to-back encounters with Real Sociedad ended the same, winning 2-1 due to Osimhen and Simeone grabbing 1 in each. Another 3-0 win arrived versus Shakhtar, meaning all we had to do was draw Arsenal on the final match day to finish on top. On the brink of halftime, it was looking great. Tomiyasu's pass was intercepted, and Osimhen immediately found Raspadori for the lead. We were playing well, but sometimes that isn't enough. A corner not long after the interval saw Martinelli wide open, and his crap shot deflected off Todibo. Arsenal began threatening, and off another corner, they retained possession from the second ball, leading to Kai Havertz scoring his first of the season. The tables have turned, and the Ray clearly gave up for their third. So, we finish in second and have to play Bayern in the round of 16 later on. During that whole period, Serie A was quite iffy. In 5 matches, only 2 were won. There was a fun, yet tough encounter with Inter, which saw Lautaro find the game winner. Lazio ended in a stalemate, while the Salernitana match was a joke. It was 2-2 until the 85th minute, where Giovanni Simeone tapped in his brace for the lead. Unfortunately, Salernitana equalized literally 60 seconds later. Bologna? I choose not to say anything. This December period was a pain. We were suffering several injuries, and this one to Lobotka was the straw that broke the camel's back. The 4-3-2 wasn't manageable with the lack of proper and fit midfielders, so we reverted to the 4-3-3 and gave ADL a call. De Laurentiis, hello, yes. So about Zielinski not starting games? Piss off. Against AC Milan, it appeared my phone call was justified, as Zielinski gave us the lead. It seemed like a deserved win was on the menu, but then came my throw-in anxiety. I've seen so many chances created from them, and Loftus-Cheek made sure that continued. Great goal to be fair, but really frustrating. Finally, trying to trash talk Mourinho only resulted in another 1-1 draw. There were a few wins in the month, but by the start of the new year, Juventus were 4 points ahead. At least the team had a chance at a trophy in the Italian Supercoppa. Played in Saudi Arabia? We got to the final, but got smoked by Inter.
Non ha senso!
De Laurentiis' favorite competition was happening this year, which meant Osimhen and Anguissa were gone. It sucked to lose the Nigerian. The Cameroonian was a bigger issue. With Lobotka still injured, our best defensive midfielder was now Kayuste. So I changed my formation again and dropped the defensive midfielder to center back, going with a 3-4-3. The tinkering paid off with wins over Fiorentina, Cagliari, and Inter. The latter was gigantic thanks to Juventus losing consecutive games, resulting in Napoli's return to first place. Regarding Anguissa, he never arrived from AFCON because Newcastle bought him for what ended up being 74 million euros. With an increased budget, we signed Ali Al-Musrati for 30 million from Braga, then some loans. Outgoing was LG Velmas, who pissed me off with the complaints about getting a contract and then playing like crap on the pitch. Off to the old lady, where he damaged his spine. The loans arriving were Ryan Gravenberg for an inexpensive fee and Tommaso Baldanzi from Empoli, who I plan on buying in the summer. However, this man's debut was one to remember. Once Atalanta made it 2-1 in the Coppa Italia quarters, the ball Dawn was subbed on, and 16 seconds from kickoff, the Italian equalized. In added time, he danced on his opponents and hit the post. Moving into the extra periods, he acted as playmaker, receiving the ball and finding Raspadori for the game winner. A brilliant debut.
Tell me who's the Don, tell me who's the Don.
The home fixture versus Torino was up, and Juric planned to get some revenge over my disrespect. He did that by exploiting a big weakness. Matias Oliveira not being able to prevent crosses or shots. Villanova was cooking me a roast dinner, but we had Osimhen back from AFCON scoring a hat trick. 3 goals should be enough to win, but no. In the last 10, Buongiorno equalized from a corner. Then, in the 93rd minute, that wouldn't be the only last-minute loss. We entered Mourinho's domain, and his intentions were humiliation, which somehow happened. A draw to Empoli prior to Bayern put us down to 4th. It's always nerve-wracking playing a big team like Bayern so quickly in the knockouts. However, their star man Harry Kane got injured in the first half, and their best chance was this free kick. We had more possession and shots, and in the 54th minute, we also had more red cards. Our great plan was destroyed. At least, that's what I thought. Yet, Bayern were not threatening, and we had a man who never got a true opportunity to shine in Munich. He was already having a good game, but as I was hoping for a 0-0 draw, Ryan Gravenberg did one better and made it 1-0 Napoli. He wasn't finished. Oh wait, Gravenberch? Oh my! Gravenberch with a brace! A brace against his former club gave us a huge advantage. That result took us out of our rut, with Sassuolo and Frosinone being defeated. Then, as we were on our way to a 2-0 victory versus Bologna, our starting keeper Murray got injured in-game. He's been injured on a few occasions, but hopefully this isn't too bad. He's out for the Bayern tie. The universe continued to take the piss at me as the day before the second leg, our hero Gravenberch suffered a groin strain. Plus, we were missing Di Lorenzo for obvious reasons, resulting in this lineup, and yes, that's Golini in net. He doesn't have the best reputation, but with Kvaratskhelia making a 3-0 in aggregate in the 26th minute, I let out a sigh of relief. What the hell is that pass, Politano? How is Muller outrunning you, Ostigard? It's fine. Alright, Harry Kane is back from injury. A 3-0 advantage should keep you safe for a while, but we clearly didn't get the memo as Muller equalized it in the 43rd minute. I realized changes were a must at halftime, but before the ref could call for it, Farah decided to make this pass. Why are you passing there? And Bayern goes down, finding Rafael Guerrero, who's left unopposed, scoring his first of the season, 4-3 on aggregate. We shot ourselves in the foot on multiple occasions, but Osimhen leveled things up after the interval. Full time was near. Once again, we made a melonhead play by making a suicide pass, intercepted by Kim Min-jae, who... Thank God for that. We had extra time, and this frustrating encounter was 1/2 away from penalties. Unfortunately, we hadn't learned from our errors, with Nathan giving it away. Bayern countered, and Musiala's shot was deflected to Kimmich, for some reason was all the way up here and not offside. His goal was the winner, and it only gets worse from here. We're top of Serie A, but that wouldn't last long after getting destroyed by AC Milan 4-1. We got revenge in the first leg of the Coppa Italia semi-final, mainly due to Osimhen scoring 4. Plus, we earned 2 more victories in the league, keeping us first by 1 point. This was the remaining schedule, and there were a lot of tough games, but Udinese to start would be a good warm-up. We drew 1-1. It's never a dull moment with Atalanta, with an early goal from your boy, Osimhen. Atalanta's Toure was causing us problems though, doing incredibly well to find himself this shot. Instead of adapting, we let him do it again moments later, and he made no mistake. We, on the other hand, continued to make them, with Raspadori's brainless pass leading to Lookman taking the lead. Focusing on that pass. Why do this? Why? It's frustrating, but Atalanta weren't perfect either, as Ibaka's strike somehow finds the back of the net. At halftime, it was noticeable that Kvara wasn't having the best game. His season has been tough, with injuries having halted any sort of momentum. However, when this guy's on it, he's damn good. 3-2, and now our whole team was performing. Except for the center backs, who once again couldn't deal with Toure. Like I said, 3 goals should be enough for a win, but clearly, we need to score 5 because Atalanta stole a victory with Timber's long shot. Could we have a calmer game in the second leg of the Coppa Italia? No, not at all. I instead lost my mind even more. Raspadori flopped like a fish for their first, Calabria equalized the aggregate with this ridiculous strike, and Chukwueze wasn't tracked for the third. I switched to the 4-1-3-2, questioning my life, just to win a penalty to restore the balance. What did the second half have in store? Loftus-Cheek scoring. And now I begin blaming Murray, who was on a 5.8 match rating. I'd rather play Golini now. Thankfully, the bald one with hair equaled the aggregate, pushing us to extra time again. Let this clown fiesta continue because out of nothing, Noah Holm somehow pulled this out of his ass. Am I managing a football game or playing Ultimate Team on steroids? With 5 to go, we went full psychopath with this formation. And you know what? It worked. Great play by Zielinski in the 120th minute pushed us to penalties. For a neutral, an 8-8 aggregate must have been fun.
Fun.
In the 4th round, Krunic hit the post, meaning it was sudden death from round 5. Florenzi tucked his, and Raspadori was stopped by Magnon.
Fun! I'm having
fun!
Prior to Lazio, my assistant recommended a team meeting. He suggested to focus on our recent good form. Okay? It actually worked. Morale improved, but telling defenders that they were hitting the right form certainly translated to Lazio by allowing Immobile a first half hat-trick. Another loss, which means that a bad result versus Juventus will rule us out of the title. The match was slow, but Juventus didn't have a single shot for almost an hour. Oh, what is that pass? What the? That loss placed us 8 points behind them with 3 to go. And after a 3-3 draw with Hellas Verona, we could legitimately miss out on the Champions League. Thankfully, we won our penultimate match while AC Milan and Fiorentina did not. We're still in Europe's elite, but with a lot of signings not panning out and our disastrous back line, something needs to be done. Worst of all, Osimhen will not renew, meaning our top scorer will likely be gone next season. Finally, Juventus won the league, meaning Elmas got a medal. I'm gonna lose my mind. Gonna lose my mind. Gonna lose my mind. I lost my mind.